unpicking was an Olympic sport, then I would get gold. Good morning, my name is Katinka. I'm the seamstress at the cottage and welcome back. Over here we talk about sewing, knitting and sometimes a bit of life. Today is Friday sews, but I'll speak about that later. I have a new cup. It says, I love to sew, and I found it at a nice little place in Council Bluffs. So, 2 Fridays ago, I told you I was going to make a top out of this red silk. And I was going to use McCall's M6960. And I was doing view A. It is that one. So, I don't want to mess up my silk. So, when I went to the op shop in Storm Lake City last week, I found this baby sheet. So, I've unpicked it, took the elastic out, and now it's ready to make a mock-up. And I just love this fabric. I think it will make a really lovely top, which I can wear for summer, and it's nice and soft. You can feel it has been washed quite a few times, so this is going to wear really nicely for summer. So this is one of the first things I unpicked. Then I found this beautiful dress. Its bodice is hanging behind me, but it was about 3 sizes too big for me. So, of course, I had to get it for this fabric. Originally, I was going to cut it up and make it into something else. But then when I fitted it, I realized I actually quite like the pattern. So, what I did is unpick the bodice, undid the sleeves. The sleeves had a cuff that folded up. I want it longer. So, I have got a plan up my sleeve to fix it and make it longer. But one of the things that I did to do that is I made the cuff. I unpicked the cuff, opened it up, took the backing out of it, and now it's ready to sew onto the little sleeve, and it will give me a sleeve that goes to about there. I'm not a fan of a cup sleeve because my arms, I don't have beautiful arms like some women who's got that beautiful indent here and then just so muscled and beautiful. I don't have that. So I picked this. It took me forever because they really made it well, and they used that chain stitch and the cotton kind of like melded into each other. So this was quite a mission to get undone. The next one was this grey linen. It's like a grey green or maybe a blue, denim blue, I'm not sure. It's a strange color, but this is one of my favorite colors. So the bodice fit, but it was a bit wide over here, and the sleeves stopped here, and it showed my bra straps. I don't want that. So I unpicked the bodice, unpicked the sleeves, and the skirt also, I'm straight. So this is cut on an A-line, but it's a very gradual A-line. So it was pulling a bit over my tummy, and I just didn't like that. So what I did is unpick the skirt, cut this much off the top. Now I can lift it up, and it gives, because it's A-line, it gives me a bit more move way around my bigger areas. And then for the top, I have pinned it. I'm going to sew it down 1 centimeter over there and just meet up on this original seam. And then I will also move the sleeves in a little bit. They stopped there. I will unpick this part and move them into there. So it's about 1 centimeter that I will move them in. And I'm excited to get this dress done so I can start wearing both of these dresses actually. And then if you look behind me over there, there's a white pair of pants sticking out. I unpicked the waistband because I need to do some alterations on that. And that was all the unpicking for the week. Quite a lot. Oh, I also did this. Where's the lace? There. So this was lace that was over a tissue box, but it's beautiful cotton lace. So unpick the whole tissue box cover. And I'm not sure I'm going to use this, but I'm like, maybe you can use it like an inset on a dress like this, or I'll play with it and decide. But I just found this in a estate sale with this fabric. I'll tell you now more about this. And I loved it, and I thought, well, I can use it for something. So I've unpicked this as well. And that's all the unpicking. I went down the Bridgerton rabbit hole. I watched the first one, and then I said I will never watch that again because it is so sloppy. But man, the outfits. Oh, I love the outfits. And I've invested in the characters. So now I had to watch the next one and the next one. But you know what happens? You watch a movie and then you get inspired, or you watch a series Well, now I want an empire dress. So my first thing was, I want a flowy Bridgerton dress to parade around on the promenade, but we don't have a promenade, and it's not going to work in my environment, so flowy long Bridgerton dress is not going to work. But I do have this pattern, and it gives you Bridgerton vibes. I'm going to turn it around so you can see the line drawings. It is beautiful. Now the little bust has like a gathering part there, but the lining is a dart, so I cut it out with the lining as my just 2 lining pieces, double lining pieces, and that's going to be the bodice. And I cut out the sleeve. I have to meet them up and do a little bit of patching, but you won't see it. But look at this. I found this tablecloth at the same estate sale as I found that lace, and it is beautiful. So there was enough to cut out this dress. I made it longer, and I am going to give it like a mesh under layer and then add a little frill under the mesh, so the dress will come with this edging, and then underneath it will stick out a piece of the same edging, but it will be gathered. And of course I had to cut it out, even though I've got a lot of other things that's also planned. I did this. I cut it out. It's ready to go, and I'm excited to sew it up. Next, I am doing a collaboration on the 27th of August with Diane from Silver Thread Sewing. Oh, Diane is just too gorgeous. Not going to show you what we're making, but I can show you the fabric. This is a linen cotton mix that I've had in my stash forever and a day. I got it. There was an old lady in the village where I lived, and she used to sew a lot, but she was just too old, and so she gave up all her sewing materials, and she contacted me and asked me if I wanted some. So I went over and I had a look, and I took a few pieces, and this was one of them. So I really don't know how old it is, but it is beautiful. It's a bit see-through, but that's why you have a petticoat, and I can't wait to get going on this. Next, I bought a pattern. I know I say over and over, I have enough patterns and I can draw them up, but I'm getting lazy. I'm actually really getting lazy, but I'm going to use the excuse that I don't have all my tools. So I got a waistcoat. It's the season for waistcoats. I don't know if you've seen, they are everywhere, and I quite like waistcoats. I used to wear a lot of them. I once made one which I cut out like puzzle pieces in lace and a flower and a black. I don't have any photos of it. And I wore it to death. And then it was like these puzzles going into each other, which I plicked onto the fabric. And then just lace over, I think it was a silver background. Oh, I thought I was so cool in that waistcoat. But alas, like many of the things in my wardrobe, I didn't keep them. I find, I don't know if you like that, but because I can make stuff, I'm not really attached to a lot of my things. And it's like if somebody says they like it, then I just give it to them. But I need to stop that. It's getting a bit out of hand. Anyway, I need a waistcoat for autumn and for winter and for everything else. Because also, I often find that my body is cold and the rest, or just almost chilly and the rest of me is fine. So I think that will work really well for autumn and for winter, because the houses here are well heated, but sometimes it's just that little edge that you have to take off. So I got this one. I love the lines on it. I love the split pockets. I will most likely line mine. This one isn't lined. It just have a facing, and I am really not a fan of facings. I do them because I have to, but if I can line something, then that's what I will do. So this is a pattern that I got. It is the Burda 7769. So can I tell you a secret? Or it's not a secret, but one of the things that I don't like to talk about is I have dyslexia. So my spelling and my numbers can sometimes get really creative. And I always struggle when I see a 6 and a 9 together, because I always get them wrong. And then I have to like pause and think to say them the right way around, especially saying them. Oh my goodness. That's even harder than trying to write them. But mostly I get them right, but sometimes my brain just goes on holiday without me, and then it's chaos. But yes, 7769 Burda. I can't give you a review on it yet. I just got it. And I don't know if you know, but I am a big animal fan. I used to work with neonatal kittens, raising them. It was very traumatic because they are so finicky and they can die on you on a whim. But I loved it, and quite a few kittens came through. My friend and I used to do it together. And so when I see a cat in distress, or even a dog, all my dogs that I've ever had was rescues, I get completely distraught. So recently, I've spoken about her a lot. It's the Silver Sage patterns, and I spoke to you about the Ella dress. Well, there was this cat. They bought a new house in their area. I think they're in France, if I remember right. And they bought this house and they're busy restoring it. And then this cat arrived. So this looks like dermatitis from allergic reaction to fleas. But you can also see this poor cat is very thin. So apparently the cat belongs to someone in the village. And the mayor is now the mediator. So she's trying to get this cat to a vet. But the person whose cat it is says, no, the cat's fine. So it's a big thing. But she did a flash sale of some of all her patterns. And everything that was made on that flash sale was donated for vet care for this cat. So they're still in the process of negotiating between the mayor and the owner to see if they can get this cat vetted. So I bought this pattern. And I'm so happy I did. So I know I've been speaking about how you can use the Live From pattern if you like the Silver Sage pattern. And I still maintain you can do that. Now this one I gave a donation of $5, but their price, because it's in Russia and it's in rupees, was I think $3.50 or something. And then there's this one. This one on the timeline is before hers. And if you really love this and you can't afford it, then this is a good option. But look at the difference. The skirt is wider, and I love the neckline. So I'm very happy that I bought it, because this is the dress I want. I love this dress. I made this dress. I gave it away because it was not the picture I had in my head. So I finally bought this dress. And I started sticking it together yesterday. I was watching Fire Country. So to sit down and watch a movie, unless it's really gripping me and unless I have like 10 projects to knit on, I can't sit and watch movies anymore. So I'm working on that, because I do think that with a TikTok brain, you cannot focus long enough on something and then you miss the important things. So anyway, I decided I'm going to stick these pattern pieces together and then watch the series. 3 episodes in, and I have only stuck maybe a half of the pattern pieces together. You're going to do this and get to the end of it and question your life choices. I'm not at the end of it yet and I'm already questioning my life choices, but I really want this dress in my wardrobe. So I'm going to continue and finish it. I spoke about it in my summer plans. Sometimes you see a bargain and then you have to take the bargain. I did not plan on this expense. It was quite pricey. But in my defense, it was 40% discount. So I love cutting things out of my rotary cutter. I have a bit of an arthritis thing going on in my hands, and I've had it for quite a few years because of my autoimmune disease situation. So cutting out can really get so painful. I do that, but then I pay the price for the next 2 days. So I've really been looking at finding a cutting mat. Now my previous sewing room had cutting mats, 3 of those big ones on a table. It was a dream. And I've looked at the cutting mats, but they've always been expensive, and they're even expensive over here. And then I had one of these rulers, which I loved because it's so easy to measure where your hem needs to be and just for everything. I got it yesterday and I've used it already so many times. So there was this special at Joann's where you have this pack with your cutting mat, your ruler, and your rotary cutter. And I love these rotary cutters because they're very nice to hold, especially for my hands. The bigger ones I find they get a bit clumsy in my hands, so they had these like rotary cutters. Now I've been looking at all of this, and on their own each of them are quite pricey, but they had a sale and it was $38 with tax. So I grabbed it and it came home with me was unplanned. I really try not to do unplanned shopping sprees. But I have had this on my list of things that I need and want. And then I got some zips as well, because for the Ella dress I need an invisible zipper, and also for this little dress that I'm making I will put in an invisible dress zipper. So I got 3 just in case I need another one for something. And then my friend came with me and we got some fabrics for her. I'm so excited. She wears slippery pajamas. I cannot stand it. She loves it. She says it does not around her. So a year and a half ago, or no, 2 summers ago, they went on a grand adventure going to see Mount Rushmore and everything in a camper. And everything went well until the camper caught fire and literally burned down within. They were driving and it actually started smoking, and she was like, get out, this car is burning. So they all got out, and luckily they all got out. And between the bunch of them, there was the family and another part of the family. Between them, they had 2 phones left. Everything else burned. Everybody's phones, all their clothes, all the iPads, everything. So her pajamas was in the camper van. And she's very particular about pajamas, and her granny still made her pajamas. So she's got one top to sleep in. So she said, please, can you make me some? So of course, I love making clothes, and I cannot make so much for myself, and I do sew quite fast. So I said, yes, let's go. So originally she asked me for one, and we found some lovely fabrics. This is the first one. She loves it. I personally think it's a bit thick, but she said she sleeps in it in winter. Actually, it's not that thick, but it's beautiful. But there was not enough for the sleeves, so we got some of this. It's got a little flower on it. We also got this in purple, but it's in the wash. And then I'm going to use this for the sleeve. And then there's enough over to make her another pajama top. And I made her those tops last year that she loves. She said, please, can you make me 1 or 2 more? So we got some more fabric. The other piece is also in the wash. The third one, it's like a purple and green and light cream flower combination. It's beautiful. So we got this one. This is that ruched one. Now, I didn't know it because I always look at it and I think, no, that's too expensive. They actually measure it on the ruched side. So you get quite a lot of fabric. And that makes it worthwhile, because I looked at it and I'm like, no, I can't buy that. But now, I might just go and get myself some. It's a beautiful, beautiful cotton. And we're going to make a top out of that with the ruching at the top. And then the sleeves will just have elastics coming in, almost like a peasant top. You know, the typical peasant tops. But it will just be straight in the front and straight in the back. And that is the one. The next one is this. I'm just going to throw this on the floor next to me. The next one is this beautiful brushed poly. It's nice. It's a lighter weight. And we also got this because she wants more of the tops that I made her already. And what I like about this one, it's not very heavy, so she will be able to wear it in summer and in winter. And this color is so her. So I've got some work ahead of me that I need to get going. And I don't really care because I love sewing. Knitting. I actually have been knitting. So what I've realized is that I need 3 projects to work on at a time. I just need a sip of this. Because my head gets completely all over the place. So sometimes I love an intricate thing to knit on, and that's where I'm knitting on my cable sweater, which I haven't done a lot of because it's summer here and you don't want to knit on cable sweaters when it's summer. I don't know about you. But then I have that beautiful shawl I'm knitting on, which is alpaca silk mix, but it's really intricate, and I knit 4 rows and then I'm tired. Because there's now, I think, 300 stitches. So I remembered that I had a sock project that I'm working on. And so every time I want to knit and just veg out, I take out my socks and I knit on them. And I love this pattern. It's just one I made up. And it's got a little cable thing on the front. And I'm going to knit it all the way up. And then the sock ankle part will also have cables right around. And I love how it's knitting up. It was just scrap wool that I had. The purple was some gloves that I made for a friend, or mittens. And then this was 1 ball. I only have 1 ball. but it should be enough for these socks because I'm doing the toes and the heels, and if there's enough part of the cuff also in the purple. And I'm just knitting on it when we're driving somewhere, or when I have a moment, or when I just want to veg and knit. Anyway, that's everything for today. Adventures. I've had my adventure buddy, and the two of us have gone on quite a few and having fun all around. Went for walks. 2 days ago we went and played in the mud. We came home and he was so dirty. He actually had to take a bath. And now we're jumping in every puddle because that's what you do, because we've had a few storms coming through during the night. So that's all I've been doing. It's not a lot, but I've had fun. What have you been up to? And Friday Sews, let me tell you about it. It's a hashtag that was started by Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room, and where you talk about your knitting or your sewing or anything else you've been up to, and there's an amazing community. Go and click on that hashtag and go and watch a few of the people. They're really lovely. I'm going to leave you on that note. Thank you so much for watching and spending time here. I always appreciate you. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.